So there's this part of moving abroad that no amount of research prepares you for. And it happens like about a year in and it catches like everybody off guard. There's this moment where you realize you've become the only person on earth who can see all of you, all of your life, the one back home, and you, the you that you're living now. Whether you've gone abroad yet or not, today I'm going to show you one thing that can help you get through this moment. Quick context, if you're new here, I'm Diedre. I moved abroad 5 times now. I've lived on 4 continents and I've solo traveled my way through 27 countries so far. And for about 9 years in total, France has been the place where I call. And then outside of that, I coach women through their own move to France. So what I'm about to describe, like I haven't just like watched it happen to other people. I've lived it more than once, like at least 5 times. So let's do the whole picture. In month one, you're like flying, you're on cloud nine, new apartment, new country, new neighborhood. You're trying to like work out your favorite boulangerie. If there is one French word that you're gonna learn, it's gonna be boulangerie, and that's how important bread and the bakery is in France. But anyways, you're working out which boulangerie is gonna be like your boulangerie because there's a boulangerie like on every block. And every little thing is this new fascinating foreign project. And so in month one, you're way too busy. In the first couple of months, you're way too busy to sit and feel anything. And I get that. That's normal. That's kind of like the exciting part of moving abroad. Even if it can get overwhelming at sometimes, this is really the part where you're like in the honeymoon phase. But later, when the shiny wears off and you're just kind of like living and now you have a daily routine and you're having a regular Tuesday or regular Wednesday, what creeps in is this gap. The people back home, your parents, your day ones, the friends who've known you since like childhood, lots of that. They knew your old life from like top to bottom. They knew your job, your favorite spots, your routine, who you were before any of this move abroad. They're those people. So you have that one side. But then your life now, you've moved abroad. So let's just take France. You've moved to France. They can't really, these people who are like your day ones or whatever, they can't really picture this life now. And that's because they're just like it's distance. They're not there, right? And you'll tell them about your day and it will be like describing a movie that they haven't really seen. You have to like explain lots of stuff and they're nodding along and this is like an important part. But eventually, because they're just not a part of your daily life, they're not a part of this new life that you've lived, like physically a part of it. They're nodding along, but sometimes they're not quite in it with you, right? And then you have the other set of people, because we're talking about the gap, right? You have the people on this side, they who are in the country with you. They listen. Some of them turn into real ride or die friends. Um, you have those people here that you develop these sort of real friendships and deep relationships with. And I'm not saying you'll be alone, but they met you already in France. And so these people are like mid story. So you have the foundational and you have the mid story. The ones who are here with you in France or here with you in your new life abroad, they have like no idea who you were before. There's no for them, no before you that they need to hold in some kind of like vision or, expectation. And so when you're between these two sets of people, you end up stuck in this strange little middle where one half of your life is with people who can't see the other half. And the whole picture of your life and who you are, you're the only one that's carrying that by yourself. And like you're the only one who's got all of you in one place. And that there is this sort of loneliness that I'm talking about. This is the moment where you'll realize, and it's going to hit you that, I'm the only one that can see all of me. And yes, people won't know all of who you are because we all have parts of ourselves that we hide from others. But there's just this unique experience that occurs when you live abroad, where you realize some of the people who were in your foundation group, like I call them, they don't see the other half, and the people who are your mid story don't know the half before, and so that it creates this, I don't know, this gap. And it's this like sneaky gap that happens. And because it's not like, bam, I don't have any friends, I'm alone. It's not any of this. You could have like plans every single night and still feel that sort of like loneliness the moment where you realize that you're the only one that has really seen, that can see the whole picture of who you are. And it's more like, yeah, there's nobody who can see all of you at the same time anymore. And I think where it really gets you is sometimes when you call back home. And so in the beginning, you're on the phone constantly. You've got so much to tell them because everything is new. But then, like over time, and I don't even know like how to put it, but the calls sometimes get shorter, thinner. They're your loved ones, and you love them like exactly the same. And this might never change, but your days and their days stop lining up, and they'll bring up somebody that you're slowly forgetting the face of, or you mention a street that they've never walked down. And sometimes there's just like these little pockets of like dead air in the middle of the call that didn't used to be there before. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, if you move around, have you experienced this yet? Tell me in the comments. And you both kind of like feel it, but none of when you're calling home, you won't say like a word about it. And I remember, like, I just had a thought right now. Where I was talking to a friend, and we used to spend so much time together, talking so much of my adult life together as well. And I was like telling her about my afternoon, nothing major, just kind of like my afternoon. And partway through, I kind of like catch myself over explaining things. Like I had to be like setting up the scene, and not in like, let me set the scene for the good story, but like translating things. And there was this moment where I kind of felt like a tour guide, like walking a stranger through my day. And it was a bit unnerving. Um, it wasn't because like I didn't like the conversation or anything like this, but it just felt, I don't know, there was this kind of like distance that occurred. And I felt like I was like watching myself in the moment. After a while, I realized that I'd started, like, I felt like I was narrating my life to people who were supposed to know it already. And it was like was a little bit strange. But I remember that moment. And that was also a moment where I realized, they don't know this part of my life. Like, they don't know this version of me. And this is where, in your move abroad story, this is where so many people make the wrong move. When that feeling shows up, when you have that loneliness or that gap or that moment of realization, your brain wants to like slap a label on it. And the label it reaches for is often regret. Like, I messed up. This was the wrong move. I should go home. And then that kind of like becomes the whole story of your move abroad. If you When you have this moment of loneliness or moment of realization that you're the only person in the world who can see all of you after you moved abroad, and your brain is telling you that you regret it and it's a bad choice, you made the wrong move, hold that thought, because by the end of this, I'm going to give you one question that tells you whether that story is even true. First, let me show you how common this really is. And I've watched this happen with myself, with friends. Oh, something went into my boobs. I've watched this happen with women that I know. I'm at dinner parties, I'm at dinner with friends or an acquaintance to share this with myself, with clients. I've watched it. Somebody is like they're 8 months into their move to France, and she's telling me she's pretty sure she made like a big mistake and maybe she should like cut her losses and fly. And every time like we break it down, it's usually about that kind of like gap where you feel this sort of like disconnect, and it's really just like this transition moment. But when you break down the whole reason why, when start asking them like why they moved, or we start getting into, well, do you like your life currently, or what aspects do you like, what aspects do you don't like, what about this regret that you're feeling, what is this about, etc. Most, it's always never the move that's wrong. Like moving abroad for her is usually like good, and they're usually like really proud and feel really, really proud of the life that they built and feel really empowered about the choices that they're making. But what happens is that growing into this whole new life, it costs you something. And usually the women or the clients that I'm working with, they didn't see it coming. And what it costs her is her old life. And what it will cost you is your old life, your old version of you. And the old you is like the version that her people, the foundation people could still recognize. That's what it cost her. And it's not like she's unhappy in France. And it's not like you're going to be unhappy in France. It's just you're mourning and she's mourning who she was before the move abroad. And I think that's like two different things. And many women, and even I, realized that there was a point where was treating them as one in terms of, I thought that that gap and that moment, that loneliness was like the same as, it equates to me being unhappy in France. And it's not the same thing, right? So if you take one thing away from this video, take this. When that thought hits of, I made a mistake, I should just go home, don't fight it. Don't try to talk yourself out of it. Just ask yourself this one question: do I really want my old life back? Ask yourself that question. If you're in that phase of, oh, maybe life abroad wasn't the best move, ask yourself, do you really want your old life back? The whole thing, the job, the apartment, the daily routine, the problems, the inconveniences, the type of happiness that you were experiencing, the type of entertainment that you were experiencing, the stresses, all of it. Would you take it back exactly how it was before you move? Is that the question, or is it just that you miss being like the woman that everybody could see and hang around and know what's going on? If it's the first one where you feel okay, you would take back your old life exactly as it was before, okay, that's real, and maybe you should like sit with it and and consider your options, right? That might be regret, and I think like that regret is worth like processing. But if it's the second of, you're just missing people knowing, seeing you and knowing who you are as you are all the time. If it's the second one, then what you're feeling is grief and not regret. Just plain and simple. And that grief doesn't mean you should book your flight back home. Like that's not what that is. It's just signaling that you're in a transition and you're navigating a life transition and you're in the middle of turning into someone new, of becoming a evolving into a different version of yourself. And like the old you is just asking to not be forgotten. And I think you can still give her that and still you can still remember and honor your old self, your old life, and your old version, and still stay in the country you moved abroad to. You can still, validate your old self and the old version of yourself and still stay in France. For what it's worth, I've never actually found this part sad. Like that moment of realizing, nobody else on this earth can see all of who I am now because I moved abroad. I've never this has never really been a thing that I found sad. I know that it might sound strange after everything I just described, but I think for me, somewhere along the way, I just start to see this whole process differently. The woman I was back in Jamaica, the woman I became in France, the one I was in between all of that, moving around, figuring things out. I don't think of those as pieces of me that like got lost somewhere. I think of them as pieces of me that I get to collect, to discover, explore, and collect. And the fact that I'm like the only one carrying all of these pieces, I don't know. I feel like there's something very unique and extraordinary. And it's something that only life abroad can give you this experience. Very few things can give you this sort of like, experience. And I think for me, I feel like having more than one home inside of me, more than one life, is truly an enriching and fascinating. And it's such a powerful experience. And I don't know like what else gives you that. It's specific to life abroad and moving abroad, to living abroad, to being a foreigner in somewhere new. And it's one of the things that I love most about living abroad. So, whether you're still in your planning stage of moving abroad, you're saving, you're researching, watching this at 2 a.m., wondering what you're getting yourself into, or if you've already moved abroad, you're here in France already, and you're feeling that gap that right now you're in that moment of realization. I'm not telling you this to scare you off. It's the opposite. Just know that it's got a name, and know that that feeling that you're having or that you're wondering about, it's not you failing. You have you've got the one question that you need to ask yourself when it shows up. And that's the whole point. The question again is, would you want your old life back exactly the way it was? That's the whole point of this that I wanted to share, because I don't want us to romanticize living abroad too much. It's amazing. It's so enriching. It's such an amazing experience. But there are real parts, and I wanted to just share about that. And so just ask yourself that one question. And what answer comes up from that question of would you want your old life back? That can help to guide you or into and validate your choices that you might the things that you might choose after that moment. i've got I've also got a video coming on why people leave France. Why do they leave the countries after they move abroad? And some of it traces straight back to what we just talked about, this thing that people feel they can't name or they never forgive themselves for. So if today you it touched something in you, make sure you watch my next video. I have a whole playlist about life abroad where we just sit back and have real talks about what happens when you move abroad. Also, if you're interested in France, and I have super specific videos about France themselves. So just check out my playlist. And the parts that of your life that nobody back home can see right now, I see them, and it's valid, and you're here and you made a wonderful choice to move abroad if you've already done it. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm Diedre. I help women move abroad to build the lives that they love, that they desire, because they deserve it, because you deserve it. Ciao.